All right, what is going on, everyone? Hopefully, everyone is having a great weekend. Welcome back to my channel, and once again, this is another recap video. This one for tonight's Elimination Chamber event. It is now in the books, in the record books, and now the road to WrestleMania continues, as this was the final pay-per-view event before WrestleMania, and we now know of another match signed for WrestleMania coming up in a couple of weeks on April 5th in Tampa Bay, and it is a huge one. We also saw on tonight's event the continuation of a build-up to another match for WrestleMania. We saw a shocking title change that came as a surprise to me. So, but everything else, let's just get right into it. Of course, the show overall was decent, with a couple of good, 2 or 3 good matches on the card. We had the kickoff show, which featured the Viking Raiders defeating Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. The matchup was a dud. I really didn't care for it very much because it was just kind of thrown together. We opened the main show with Daniel Bryan taking on Drew Gulak. This one I thought was really good. I thought Gulak brought the fight to Daniel Bryan. Even though it's been building for a couple of weeks on SmackDown, I thought that this matchup with just having a couple of weeks of build-up of Gulak trying to teach different superstars when they face Daniel Bryan that there's some flaws in Daniel Bryan's arsenal, that it got to the point where Daniel Bryan challenged Gulak to face him at the Elimination Chamber event tonight. And I thought it was a really good match. Daniel Bryan got the victory when he locked in the yes lock and made Drew Gulak pass out, not tap out, but pass out. And Daniel Bryan was your victor at Elimination Chamber tonight. We had Andrade retain the United States Championship over Humberto Carrillo. I thought the matchup was good, but it is what it is. I don't know what they're going to do with Andrade now. I mean, he's had so many opportunities at the United States Championship that, and he's come up short. I mean, yeah, they've been giving him big victory, some victories in like tag matches or non-title matches, but where is this going? I mean, what is tomorrow night going to be? Another rematch between these two, where Humberto finally wins? We'll have to wait and see, but Andrade still your United States champion after tonight. SmackDown Tag Team Championships, they were on the line in an Elimination Chamber match. The Miz and John Morrison defended against the Usos, The New Day, Lucha House Party, Heavy Machinery, and Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler and Roode, with their victory this past Friday night on SmackDown, had the advantage of being released from their pod last. Heavy Machinery, they were the 5th team to enter. They eliminated Lucha House Party. It started with the Usos and the New Day, then Lucha House Party, then Miz and Morrison, then Heavy Machinery, and then Roode and Ziggler. Of course, the storyline with Ziggler and Otis kind of continued, with Otis wanting to get revenge on Ziggler for ruining his opportunity to get together with Mandy Rose. And it wound up costing him, because Otis went to go run at Ziggler and was going to knock him through one of the pods, but Ziggler moved out of the way, and Otis smashed through the pod and then smashed through the pod wall and ended up on the arena floor. And that's what kind of took him out, and that allowed Rude and Ziggler to double team Tucker when he was looking to get a bit of revenge for his friend. However, that was not the case, as Heavy Machinery were the second team eliminated. Then the New Day took out Rude and Ziggler. That allowed the Usos to hit the Uso splash from from the top of two separate pods, and that eliminated Rude and Ziggler. Then the Usos and New Day, they went after Miz and Morrison, and then they started fighting. Miz and Morrison, after Kofi missed a cross body block from the top of the pod onto one of the Usos, they wound up pinning Kofi and eliminating the New Day. Then that meant that the Usos and Miz and Morrison were the last two teams remaining, and Miz and Morrison, using a double team effort to pin one of the Usos when Miz had his feet on the rope as well, and that was enough to retain the tag team championships for Miz and Morrison. So Miz and Morrison are still your SmackDown tag team champions heading into WrestleMania. They showed a thing about Edge coming back tomorrow night on Raw, looking for revenge on Randy Orton for what happened this past Monday night when Randy Orton RKO'd Edge's wife, Beth Phoenix, as well as the attack that Randy Orton perpetrated on Edge the night after the Royal Rumble. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Aleister Black defeated AJ Styles in a no disqualification match. The matchup was a good one. It kind of took a long time till finally Gallows and Anderson interfered. It was a 3-on-1 situation. It wasn't a handicap match. It was just a 3-on-1 where Styles, Gallows, and Anderson beat down Aleister. Then Styles asked them to pick up Aleister so that he could deliver the phenomenal forearm. But before he could do anything, the gong of The Undertaker hit, and lights went out. Lights come back on. You see Undertaker with Gallows and Anderson and grabbing them by the throats while they were on the ground. Styles then tried to hit the phenomenal forearm when the Undertaker's back was turned, but Undertaker turned around, grabbed Styles, picked him up for the chokeslam just like he did at Super Showdown, and then the lights went back out. Lights come back on. No Undertaker in sight. Then Aleister Black got up. Styles got up. And Black hit the Black Mass on AJ Styles to pick up the victory and avenge his loss from this past Monday night when it was a 3-on-1 gauntlet match that Styles won over Aleister Black, as Aleister Black was victorious at Elimination Chamber. We had the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line. The Street Profits defended against Rollins and Murphy. AOP kind of got into a brawl with the Viking Raiders, who had come to ringside, I think, in the middle of the match or maybe the beginning of the match. So that took AOP out. Then, near the end of the match, Kevin Owens would make his way through the crowd with some popcorn. He didn't have a seat in the crowd, but he wound up jumping over the barricade and sitting on one of the announce tables. He threw popcorn at Seth Rollins, and I believe it was Dawkins took out Rollins on the floor, but then that allowed the Street Profits to double team Murphy as Montez Ford would hit the frog splash off the top rope. I forget what the move is called. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments below. But he hit a splash off the top rope on Murphy, and thus the Street Profits are still the Raw Tag Team Champions. Good match. It continues the storyline between Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Rollins wound up receiving a stunner from Kevin Owens after the match. So obviously that's going to be a matchup happening at WrestleMania. coming up. We had a 3-on-1 handicap match. Braun Strowman defending the Intercontinental Championship against Nakamura, or Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and the Great Liberator, Sami Zayn. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Intercontinental Champion as Sami Zayn pinned Braun Strowman after Cesaro, Nakamura, and Sami Zayn hit their triple team move where Nakamura and Cesaro picked Braun Strowman up like they were going for a suplex, and Sami Zayn with the haluva kick, and that was enough for Sami Zayn to keep Braun Strowman down. So Sami Zayn is your new Intercontinental Champion. The matchup was what you would expect from a handicap match. Sami Zayn had been running his mouth saying he was going to fight Braun Strowman and start the match off, but then wound up tagging out, then tagging in whenever Strowman was down, and the numbers advantage got to Braun Strowman. So that was pretty much it for that. Then we had the Women's Elimination Chamber match. This one to determine who's going to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. And Shayna Baszler was very dominant in this match, which she was the fourth woman to enter the chamber. It started out with Ruby Riott and Natalya. Then Sarah Logan was released from her pod. Then when Shayna Baszler got released from her pod, she eliminated Sarah Logan with the Karafuda Clutch. She eliminated Ruby Riott the same way. She eliminated Natalya the same way. Then she dominated Liv Morgan when Liv Morgan entered and eliminated her in quick fashion. Then it came down to her and Asuka. And like I said, Shayna Baszler is going to WrestleMania to challenge for the Raw Women's Championship. She defeated Asuka and eliminated her as the final elimination, and thus winning the Elimination Chamber match. I thought there was going to be a fight afterwards between Becky and Shayna, but Becky was backstage watching on the monitor, so there was no fighting after the match. So that is another huge matchup for WrestleMania. Becky Lynch, the man, defending the Raw Women's Championship against the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. So that concluded Elimination Chamber. My overall thought on the show was, I thought it was okay, considering it only had 2 SmackDowns and a Raw to build up to it. But it is what it is. Now the attention goes to tomorrow night to see what happens with Edge and Randy Orton on Raw. And of course, WrestleMania on April 5th. So if you guys watched Elimination Chamber tonight, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. This has been my Elimination Chamber recap. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.